Eugene Levy had been on countless talk shows across his long Hollywood career, but nothing could have prepared him for the unexpected storm brewing inside the brightly lit studio of Lorraine. He arrived cheerful, polite, and ready to promote his new travel comedy series. But behind the cameras, tension was already crackling, subtle, then sharp, like the electricity before a sudden blackout. Lorraine Kelly, the veteran morning host known for her warmth and her sharpness when displeased, checked her cards one last time. A producer whispered something in her ear that made her eyebrows tighten for half a second. Eugene noticed it. Everyone noticed it. But no one said anything. 3, 2, 1, we're live. The studio lights intensified, and on-air smiles switched on. Good morning. We're joined today by the legendary Eugene Levy. Lorraine announced, her cheerful tone not quite reaching her eyes. Lovely to be here, Eugene replied, giving his gentle, unmistakable smile. The first few minutes went smoothly, standard questions, light jokes, comfortable banter. Eugene relaxed, thinking the interview would be simple. But Lorraine flipped to the next card, paused, and cleared her throat. So, Eugene, she said, leaning forward, there's been a bit of chatter online, people saying you've become too serious, that your new travel show lacks the fun people expect from you. Some even call it, she squinted at her card, boring. Eugene blinked, surprised. He hadn't expected that. Well, he said carefully, I don't think it's boring. It's a different kind of humor, subtle, observational. But that's not what fans want, is it? Lorraine cut in. They say they miss the old Eugene, the funny one. The air tightened. A couple of crew members exchanged glances. Eugene forced a polite chuckle. I'm still the same person. I just enjoy exploring new things. The show isn't meant to be slapstick. But don't you think, Lorraine continued, that this serious thing you're doing is a mistake? That maybe people won't connect with it. Her tone was still, TV-friendly, but it had the edge of a knife just under the surface. Eugene's smile faded. Lorraine, are we here to have a conversation, or just read negative comments? A quiet gasp came from somewhere behind the cameras. Lorraine raised her eyebrows. I'm simply asking questions the public wants answered. Right, Eugene said, sitting back. Just feels like you're trying to corner me. The tension pulsed through the studio like a heartbeat. Lorraine pressed on. Eugene, don't you think if a show receives criticism, the creator should listen? Not brush it aside. I do listen, Eugene replied sharply. But I also trust my vision. I don't make shows based on anonymous comments. Lorraine tapped her cue cards on the table, a habit she did whenever irritated. You sound defensive. And you sound like you're not interviewing, just provoking. Another gasp. The producer standing near camera 2 visibly winced. Lorraine forced a smile that did nothing to hide her anger. Well, Eugene, perhaps a little provocation is needed when the guest avoids responsibility. Avoids responsibility, Eugene repeated. For what? For not making the exact show someone on Twitter wanted. The audience watching live must have felt the friction through their screens. Lorraine tried to move to the next segment, but the mood had already darkened. Let's talk about the episode where you refused to participate in the cultural festival. Viewers found you cold. That's not true, Eugene said firmly. I participated. I just didn't want to disrespect their traditions by pretending to be something I'm not. Lorraine shook her head. That's not how it came across. Eugene leaned forward, his voice low but intense. Lorraine, with all due respect, maybe you should watch the full episode before judging. The producer held up a hand to signal a commercial break, but the camera was still rolling for a few more seconds. Eugene, feeling the heat rise, muttered, not loudly, but loud enough. This whole interview feels like a setup. The screen cut to commercial. But backstage, everything truly exploded. Eugene stood up, taking off his mic. What was that? I came here to talk about my show, not get ambushed. Lorraine followed him off stage, still calm but visibly irritated. It wasn't an ambush. It was journalism. That wasn't journalism, Eugene shot back. That was you trying to create drama. You gave me the drama, she replied. A stage manager stepped between them, trying to ease the situation. Please, both of you, we're back in 90 seconds. I'm not going back, Eugene said, handing over his mic pack. Find someone else to argue with. Lorraine crossed her arms. Walking out doesn't make you look better. I'd rather walk out than sit through another passive-aggressive interrogation, Eugene said firmly. The producer rushed over, panicked. Eugene, please, we can continue with a lighter segment. We'll shift the tone. No, Eugene said quietly but decisively. I'm done. And with that, he headed toward the exit corridor. But just before he stepped out, Lorraine called after him. You're making a mistake. He paused, turned his head slightly, and replied. No, Lorraine, I think the mistake was coming here. The doors closed behind him. A silence fell across the studio, heavy and electric. And then the producer said the words no one expected. Fine. Cut his next segment. He's officially off the show. The moment Eugene stepped out of the studio doors, the entire backstage area froze. Assistants holding clipboards, makeup artists with brushes in hand, and camera operators who had seen countless celebrity meltdowns, all stared silently, as if watching a legend walk off a battlefield. But the chaos behind him was only beginning. Inside the studio, Lorraine sat back in her chair, exhaling sharply. The commercial break timer blinked red, 0:22, 0:21, 0:20. She had less than a minute before she was live again, and her guest had just walked out. Her producer, Melanie, rushed to her side. Lorraine, we need to regroup. We'll fill the next segment with viewer messages. We'll tell the audience Eugene had a scheduling issue. Lorraine gave a cold smile. A scheduling issue. He stormed off. We can't say that, Melanie whispered. Not on air. Not without legal approving. Lorraine rolled her eyes but nodded. Fine. The countdown resumed. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're back, Lorraine said, her on-air voice magically restored, though her eyes carried the faint tremble of someone who had been shaken. Unfortunately, Eugene had to leave early. But the audience knew. Everyone knew. Social media had already exploded. Meanwhile in the parking lot, Eugene sat in the back of the black van sent to pick him up. He rubbed his forehead, feeling the weight of the confrontation still pressing hard behind his eyes. His assistant, Claire, climbed in after him. That was something. Eugene chuckled bitterly. Was I out of line? You were honest, Claire replied. And she pushed you hard. Eugene sighed. I don't like losing my patience. But what was she expecting? I came there to promote a show, not get interrogated like a criminal. Claire opened her tablet. Notifications flooded the screen, clips already circulating, fans reacting, hashtags trending. Eugene, look. He leaned over and saw it. Hashtag justice for Eugene. Hashtag Lorraine vs. Levy. Hashtag let Eugene speak. He blinked. Already. But Claire didn't respond. Instead, she tapped a video that had been posted seconds earlier. A leaked clip from backstage, nothing too revealing, but enough to show him handing his mic back and saying, I'm done. Eugene shut his eyes. This is going to be everywhere, isn't it? Claire nodded. Within the hour. Back in the studio. Lorraine ended the show with her usual smile, but the moment the cameras stopped, her face hardened. She marched into the green room where her team was gathered. What happened out there? She demanded. Melanie cleared her throat. We think you pushed him too much. Lorraine's eyes widened. Too much. I was doing my job. Another producer looked down nervously. But the audience is siding with him online. Lorraine stiffened. Online audiences always pick the underdog. Melanie spoke quietly, choosing her words carefully. Lorraine, he wasn't wrong. The questions came off more hostile than intended. Lorraine's voice dropped to a whisper, cold, sharp, wounded. So now I'm the villain. No one answered. Her shoulders tensed as she walked away, muttering, I've been doing this for 30 years, I know how to conduct an interview. But for the first time in a very long time, she felt doubt. 2 hours later, Eugene's hotel suite. Eugene sat by the large glass window, sipping lukewarm tea. His phone buzzed nonstop. His son called. His daughter called. Colleagues texted. Old friends sent laughing emojis. And then, his manager, folded in panic, video called him. Eugene, what happened? Eugene shrugged. Just a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding. You're trending in 12 countries. Eugene blinked. 12. His manager nodded frantically. Yes, they're calling you a hero. A legend. And Lorraine, well, she's getting the opposite reaction. Eugene rubbed his chin. I didn't want drama. I know. But drama found you. Evening news. By 6 p.m., every entertainment channel in the UK had the story. Eugene Levy walks out of Lorraine. Tense clash on morning TV. What really happened behind the scenes? Clips played, analysts speculated, and panelists debated who was right and who was wrong. One commentator even said, Eugene Levy has always been known for his politeness. If he loses his patience, something serious must have happened. The story had become larger than the interview itself. Late night, an unexpected call. Eugene was preparing to sleep when his phone rang. The caller ID surprised him. Lorraine Kelly. He hesitated, then answered. Lorraine. There was a brief silence on the other end. Eugene, she said quietly. I think we should talk. Her voice no longer carried television charm. It was human, tired, honest. Eugene exhaled. Yeah, maybe we should. I didn't mean to upset you, Lorraine admitted softly. And I didn't expect the reaction today. From you, or from the public. Eugene nodded even though she couldn't see it. And I didn't mean to walk out like that. It wasn't professional. Another silence, this one softer. Maybe, Lorraine said carefully, we can meet. Clear the air, off camera. Eugene smiled faintly. I'd like that. And for the first time that day, there was no tension, no anger. Just two people who had collided on live television. Now trying to rebuild the bridge behind the scenes.